Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of a District 79 webinar training. I want to welcome everyone with the greetings. And today's webinar training is for EasySpeak, the way to greatness for members, clubs, and VPEs. Before I continue, I just want to do an audio check and a visual check to make sure you all can see my screen and you can hear my voice. If you can see my screen and you can hear my voice, please say hello or type yes in your question window. Hi, Basima, Yusuf, thank you very much. Awesome, thank you all so much. Okay, so we'll get started. I am DTM Akanke Abdul Khalik. I'm the District 79 Webinar Chair, and on behalf of our district leaders, District Director Abdullah Sharif, Program Quality Director DTM Rashid Ali, and Club Growth Director DTM James Taruk, I want to welcome you. We are delighted that you all are here and look forward to an informative session that I guarantee, inshallah, will shift you into greater success as members, as a club, and especially if you're a VPE, this will become your best friend. And furthermore, this dynamic tool is really the way to greatness for our entire district if all clubs will use it. A couple of years ago, the District 59 governor said that EasySpeak was the deciding factor to help them reach President's Distinguished District consistently. So with that in mind, I want to get started. I want to introduce the webinar team for today. And I want to see if my partner, he's not here yet, but I'll go ahead and introduce him anyway. So today's webinar team is going to be DTM Rick Briones. He has served as a club president for PIC, PAWR Toastmasters Club, also for OMG Advanced Toastmasters Club. He is a past District 79 Toastmaster of the Year for year 2011 and 12. He is a past Division K governor and was awarded the #2 division in the whole district for 2014 and 2015. And he is also past Area 28 governor. By profession, he is a certified public accountant and works as an assistant accounting manager for Samir Photographic Supplies. And I know earlier he was having challenges signing on, so we'll hopefully hear from him soon. He'll be signing in soon, hopefully. I am also presenting in today's session. I am Akanke Abdul Khalik, District 79 Webinar Chair, Toastmaster of the Year for District 79 for 2015, past Area 20 Governor, founding president of the first women's-only club in Division M, Dahran Women's Toastmasters Club, and the first female DTM for Division M in its entire 35-year history. Before we get started with our training, I want to let our attendees know how to be engaged. First of all, you can ask a question by raising your hand, and there's a hand icon on your control panel. When you raise your hand, I will see it go up. I will check periodically to see who has their hand raised, and then I will open your mics at an appropriate time so that you can ask your question or make your comment. Then you can also type a question. If you don't want to ask a question or talk on the webinar, then you can just type it and I will refer to that and ask your question for you, or let others know what your comment is that you've typed in the question box. Also, we're going to do some polling, hopefully. Polling is an interactive way for us to ask your question and for you to respond. So when you see a poll go up, you'll have 30 seconds to respond, and that way we'll have some more interaction and get some ideas from you on this training. So today's presentation topics: welcome introduction by me, an EasySpeak overview by DTM Rick, EasySpeak member demo by me, EasySpeak officer demo by DTM Rick. Then we're going to look at the EasySpeak club setup, which will be done by both of us. And then we'll have a closing and an invitation for you all to participate in an upcoming training that will start next Wednesday evening. We'll tell you more about that. And I see DTM Rick has signed on. DTM Rick, can you hear me? DTM Rick, can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can, but there's a lot of background noise. Could you manage that, please? DTM Rick?
Wait for a while. I'm having some problem with my headset.
Okay. Okay, and I also hear some background noise. I can hear you fine. So if you can hear me and I can hear you, that's okay. But we're hearing some music in the background as well. Can you turn that off? It's
I'm having problem with my microphone, actually, with my sound system,
okay.
with my headset.
Okay, but can you hear me okay? Do you hear me, DTM Rick? Okay, all right. So I'm going to turn your mic off for now and come back to you and try to move forward with the training. And hopefully we can get you connected. And meanwhile, I'll go ahead and do the overview. I'll continue with the presentation topics. And if I need to, I'll just do your portion until you can get your system working properly. EasySpeak the simple way. This is an overview. And if you want more information, you can go to easy-speak.org. That's the main website for EasySpeak. Now, why do we need EasySpeak? It helps us to create meetings in minutes. It helps role players and speakers to sign up easily online. It makes it easy for you to request speeches and to volunteer. It's also a communication tool. We can communicate with all members. We can send notifications to all members about meetings, about their confirmation if they've signed up. If they haven't signed up, there's a wonderful email notification system within EasySpeak. There's tracking. Tracking is amazing. Every member can see at a glance what he or she has accomplished thus far on the communication track and what speeches have been scheduled, and we'll show you all of this. You can also see your CL track, and we'll show all of this to you online. There's It automates everything in Toastmasters. It's really great. It automates a lot of things for the VPE. It automates things for members, and it even automates things for the club. You can see your DCP status. You can see lots of information, and it can even create an automatic agenda with the press of one button. For example, if there are no meeting roles taken, there are no speakers. Well, it doesn't actually automate speakers, but if you press a button, I hope we'll show you this today. You will be able to automatically create an agenda based on the system knowing what members need to achieve on their CL progress and what their particular goals are. So it has a goal setting component that's connected to creating automatic agendas so that members who haven't taken roles in a long time can achieve their goals. It's based on a database that has all the club information and the member information, and the speech objectives are inside the system. So if a member is doing CC1, it automatically will show the objectives, and it can even print those objectives on the agenda that's used for the meeting, and it's free to use. So it's a total membership management solution, and I'm going to check back in with DTM Rick because I'm actually presenting his portion now to see if he's available. DTM Rick, your mic is open. Can we check on you now to see how your sound is? Can you hear me? Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, so now we're going to actually, I'm going to go online, but what I'm showing you now is a screenshot from the login page, a login page. Your login page will look very similar to this. This actually was a screenshot from an iPad or from a tablet, but which is good to see because this lets you know that you can use EasySpeak on the go, on an iPad, on your phone, on any kind of tablet, and of course on your desktop computer as well. When you when you're signed up for EasySpeak, when your club is set up for EasySpeak, you will get a login that tells you what your username and your password is, and you'll be able to change that at any time. But today, what we really want to show you is first how the system works, and then towards the end, we'll show you how to set up a system. So what we want to do is really show the nuts and bolts of how it works so that you can be excited, and then we'll back out of that and show you how to set it up. Okay, but this is the login screen that shows you how it looks. I'm just going to check in quickly in the question box to see if there are any questions so far. You can't hear sound. Okay, Fatima, you said you can't hear sound. Are we going to see the process of registering a new club? Yes, you will. Okay, doing great, Akanke. Thank you, Toastmaster. Yes, sir. So can everyone still hear me, and can you see my screen? Do you see the slide that says introduction? I just want to check in. Yes, great, awesome. Okay, wonderful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my web browser and log in and show you the login process. Give me just a moment, please. I'm already logged in, so I'm going to log out. And just so you know, if you're a member of several clubs and those clubs are on EasySpeak, you just need one user profile, one member profile, and that will be connected to all the clubs as long as they add you using your same username to their database. So here I am on the home screen at EasySpeak, easy-speak.org, and my username and password is already populated because I'm on here all the time. But if this is your first time, it will be blank for you, and you'll enter your username and password that you'll get by email. And I recommend that you click Remember Me so that it will remember you the next time, because this is going to become your best friend as well. So you click Login, and it will log you into the page for the club that you are for the primary club that you're associated with. So it's going to log me in now, and when it logs in, it's going to show my user profile image, and it'll show at the top which club I'm logged into. So if you're only logged into one club, you'll only see one club name at the top, and I'll show you this in just a moment if my system will not be so slow today. And while I'm waiting for it to log me in, I'm going to see if there are any questions. Fatima still says there's no sound. Fatima, um, can someone else tell me? Everyone else has said that they can hear me, so let me just let Fatima know that it's probably a problem with her system. I'm sending that to her privately, and my system has not logged me in yet. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we're logged in. Great. Thank you, Toastmaster Mufid, for letting me know that, or DTM Mufid, for letting me know that you can hear me clearly. Now I'm logged in, and you see at the top here it says EasySpeak Dahran Women's Toastmasters Club. That lets me know which club site I'm logged into. I'm also a member at Dahran Toastmasters Club, and if you're a member of multiple clubs, then it will show you the links to all those clubs that you're a member of underneath. If I want to switch to Dahran Toastmasters site and their club meetings, etc., all I do is click that club name and it will take me to their page. But I won't do that now because I want to move forward with showing you how the user interacts, or user is the same thing as member. The system calls members users also. So I'll use those terms interchangeably. So now what I want to show you is I'm also an officer of Dahran Women's Toastmasters Club. So it automatically gives me the highest level view, which is the officer view. So if I go to certain parts of the site, I can assign roles to members, etc. But I will show you that later. Right now, I want to show you that I can change my profile view to a club member view. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to show you how to interact with the system with me being a member and not an officer. So I'm going to choose Club Member View here. And when I do that, it's going to refresh my screen. And now I want to show you as a member how to interact with the EasySpeak system. It refreshes and takes me back to my home page. And there are two main menus that I want to go over today because today is an overview. You're going to get a wonderful taste of how to use EasySpeak from a user's perspective or member's perspective, as well as from a VPE or officer's perspective. And then we'll show you how to set up a club as well. But this is an overview. We're going to do an in-depth, up-close training beginning this coming Wednesday, December 9th, in the evening from 7 to 9. And there will be 4 sessions for 4 consecutive Wednesdays where you can get training on the whole system, and each session will have a particular focus, and we'll tell you more about that later on. Okay, so the first menu I want to show you that's most important is the meetings and the my participation. Under meetings, you get to look at the calendar for the meetings. And I'll click this and it'll show you a calendar of all the upcoming meetings for clubs that you're associated with. So it's showing me a calendar, and if you look under Tuesday, December 1st, it automatically takes me to the current month. For December 8th, I can see Dahran Women's Toastmasters Club, and I can see Dahran Toastmasters Club as well. So if I click on either one of them, it will take me immediately to the agenda for that meeting. So I'm going to click on Dahran Women's Toastmasters Club for Tuesday, December 8th. And it will show me the agenda for that meeting that day. It says Tuesday, December 8th. It shows me that I am attending this meeting because I already interacted with the system. And in just a second, I'll show you how to do that. In fact, I think I'm going to skip this and come back to this. But this shows you the agenda. It shows you who the speakers are. It shows you who's attending on the left side here, who's already confirmed their attendance. And on the right side, it shows you who has signed up for roles. And it shows that there's one role available. But let me go back to what I really wanted to do first. Really, what I really want to show you is my participation, because this is everything. So if you go to my participation, the first thing is will give you, how do I say, you can feed 2 birds with 1 seed by clicking on sign up for meetings. Under sign up for meetings is going to take you to a page that's going to show you the upcoming 4 meetings. As long as the VPE has created those meetings, you will be able to see at least 4 meetings on the screen. If you don't have 4 meetings set up, then you'll only see however many meetings are set up. If it's 2, you'll only see 2. If it's more than 4, you'll see 4, and then you have the option to go to change the date range. So if I want to change the date range, let's say to December, this says December 22nd through January 12th, it will refresh the screen and show me the upcoming meetings for that range. So you see December 22nd through January 12th, and it shows me the meetings, any roles that have been taken, etc. But I'm going to go back to the upcoming 4 meetings. All right, now when you're on this page, you can do several things. You have an option to confirm your attendance on this first row, to request a speech if you haven't already requested one, to see who's a speaker. You don't have to do anything there unless you're a speaker and you have been assigned the speaker slot that you requested. Then you would have a thumbs up or a thumbs down that asks you to confirm that you will take the speaker role. You have the line that shows everything else underneath. This shows the various roles: general evaluator, evaluator, and this actually is a contest that's coming up. So what I want to do, this particular screen is also showing that we've added certain roles for speech competitions or the contest, but they only apply to certain meetings. So for example, you see this under December 8th, but you won't see it under December 15th because it's not a club contest. All right, so let me just make it clearer, and I'm going to check in the question window to see if there are any questions and if there are any hands raised, because I want this to be interactive. I know you may have questions now, so I'd rather get them now than later. Okay, no hands raised, but let me see what's in the question box. How can we change our club's name on EasySpeak? Because when we requested to reactivate our club on EasySpeak, the name was something else, and now it has changed. Okay, I'll show you that. You do that. You do that in Club Setup, but if you need to, I think you can do that just in Club Setup. We'll look at that in just a moment, Selma. Thank you for your question. All right, so on the screen here, let me just move my control panel. You have the option to confirm your attendance, and you do that simply by, I'm going to go over here to December 22nd and say, yes, I'll click the radio button here, and it will refresh the screen. And when it refreshes, it'll come back with a check mark. Right now, it shows a question mark. So now it shows a check mark. Now there is another way to do this, an easier way to feed two birds with one seed. I like to say that instead of saying kill two birds with one stone. So there's another way to do this. For example, if I don't have a role for that meeting, which I don't, I could have also just chosen a role, and then it would have automatically assigned that role to me and confirmed my attendance. So I'm going to do that under the December 29th meeting day. I'm going to say that I want to evaluate the first speaker. If I hover over this, I hope you all can see this. It says, I accept the evaluator role. I'm hovered over evaluator 1. If I click that green thumbs up, I'm saying yes. I'm going to click that, and it's going to give me that role, and it's also going to confirm my attendance, because right now my attendance shows a question mark. All right, so I assigned that role to myself, and it confirmed my attendance. Isn't that cool? And it makes sense. How can I take a role if I'm not going to show up? So it automatically knows that I'm going to be there. Now, if something happens and I cannot attend the meeting, I just click the red thumbs down and decline the evaluator's role. I'm going to do that now, and I get a screen that pops up that says, hey, why are you declining this role now? I mean, it doesn't really say it with those emotions, but it says, I decline the evaluator role. Briefly explain why you wish to decline this role. I'm going to say, I have an appointment that I can't break. You could also say, for example, if you don't want to be an evaluator and you would rather be the grammarian and that role is still open, you can say, I'm going to take another role. And then at the bottom it says, I will be there, I am not attending. So if I have an appointment and I can't make it, naturally I'm going to say I'm not attending. So it will unconfirm my role, it will mark me as absent, and it will refresh the screen. If I'm just changing roles and I'm saying I'm a grammarian, uh, I will click I will be there. So it will know that I'm still wanting to take another role. And then when it refreshes, I just click the grammarian role. But for now, I'm going to say I'm not attending. And it's going to refresh the screen. And it marked me as not attending. Isn't that super cool? Okay, so now on this same screen, I want to show you how to request a speech. So I'm going to click this and request a speech. Now there's a two-step process for actually being a speaker at a meeting. Someone has to request the speech. That someone being either your vice president of education requests it for you because she wants you to deliver a speech. She knows you need to deliver a speech, or you can request it yourself. Either way, the other person has to accept it. So if the VPE makes a speech request for you, you'll have to accept it. You'll get an email that says the VPE has requested this speech for you. Do you accept it? And you can actually accept it right in the email. And I hopefully we'll get to show you that today. So I'm requesting a speech. My speech title is My journey to Toastmaster. And then which workbook, and once I give the speech title, I click on the next tab, which is workbook speech, so that I can let it know which workbook it's from. And you'll notice now the speech title has a check mark by there because I entered the information there. If you don't know your speech title ahead of time, you can type to be determined, TBD, or to be announced, TBA. It's up to you. You don't have to know the speech title ahead. But before the meeting, you do want to give your speech title because the agenda prints your speech title, and I'll show you that. Now, the next thing after I tell it my speech title, I need to tell it which manual I'm going to be working for. And I have several manuals here. I'm going to choose Competent Communicator Manual. And if you are working on an advanced manual, you can choose an advanced manual too. I'm working on my second CC, so I'm going to say I want to deliver project number 5, My Body Speaks. And it's going to now refresh the screen, and I'll have to now tell it what date. So you see there's a green check mark here saying that it knows which workbook it's from. Now I need to click this tab that says preferred date and tell it when I want to deliver this speech. And now it's showing me the upcoming meetings from December 8th all the way through February 16th. If a meeting is scheduled and an agenda is assigned, then it will also tell me if the meeting is full or if there are speech slots available. So as you can see here, for Dhahran Women's Toastmasters Club, all our meetings are full until December 29th. December 8th, there are 4 speaking slots, and these 4 yellow clocks means that the 4 slots have already been scheduled. So if I click this, I will be on a wait list. I can click this as my first preference. So this last column is asking me to tell the system my first, second, and third preference for delivering this speech. If we still really want to deliver it on the 8th and we know all the speaking slots are gone, we can make it our first preference. And if anyone cancels, then the system will see and the VPE will see, and he or she can assign you that speaking slot. Unless others have asked for it as well, then she'll have to prioritize it according to who asked for it first, or sometimes who needs it the most. So I'll choose my first date, my second date, and a third date. And a third date. And you can do this thoughtfully based on what you really want to do. And once that's done, I automatically get a green check mark here, and now I save it. I save it in the system, and the system now knows that I've requested a speech, and it knows which manual that I'm working on and which speech project I'm working on and which days I want to deliver it. Okay, now the screen is going to refresh, and it now shows me that I have requested a speech for December 8th, December 15th, and December 22nd, because those were the preferences that I gave. And when the VPE logs in, he or she will see that as well. But now I can do nothing else as far as my speeches are concerned, because the other second part of the process is for it to be accepted and assigned by the VPE. But at least I can see that, yes, my request is there, yes, I'm scheduled, and that is enough for me for now. Any questions about what I just did? Do you use any other website for your club like Web Associated? No, this is the only thing we use right now, but some clubs do use um, their own website, like a normal website, and then they have a link to their EasySpeak site within their website. And that question was from Toastmaster Hind. Toastmaster Fatin says, hi Akanke, how could the evaluators know the project they are evaluating when they sign up for the evaluator role? Okay, let me show you that quickly. Thank you, Yasser, for your comment. Okay, let me show you that quickly. If I go here on the same screen, this screen is a catch-all screen. You can do so many things. So for example, all the evaluator roles are assigned here. Let's go, let me go here to December 8th. If I click on this link, all these are hyperlinks, so it will take me directly into that club meeting agenda for that particular day. So I'm going to look at December 22nd. So I can see what speeches the speakers are giving. So the first speaker is delivering competent communication manual number 4, how to say it. 5 to 7 minutes. The objectives, words, and sentence structure communicates the ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly. It lists all the objectives. So if you want to evaluate a speaker, you know which speech they're delivering, and therefore you choose accordingly. If you have not delivered project number 4, you would not assign yourself to be the first evaluator. So that's how you find out what project. I hope that answers your question, Fatin. Mufid, what is the limit for the number of speakers for the meeting? How the system recognizes that it is full? That's a great question, Mufid. I will show you that now. I'll have to switch to my officer view in order to show you that. So let me just come back to that quickly. I won't forget, inshallah, DTM Mufid. Okay, so I want to go back to the screen where you sign up for meetings and see if there's anything that I didn't cover there for you. Okay, so confirm attendance, request to speech. You can see on this line who are the confirmed speakers. By the way, the green check mark means that these speakers have confirmed that they are speakers, or the VPE has confirmed that they can speak. Remember, it's a two-way process. So, in other words, the green check mark says that that process has been completed, both sides, and so they are definitely the speakers for that meeting. If we look here for December 15th, these two members, Najat and Magda, do not have green check marks, so that means that some part of the process has not been completed and it needs to be completed before that meeting is before the agenda can be complete. Here, everything is the same. I've shown you everything. If you see a green check mark, that means everything is confirmed. If you see a green thumbs up, that means you can take that role. If you see a red thumbs down, that means you've taken that role and you can change your mind and cancel it because you want to take another role, or you after all cannot attend the meeting. And that's pretty much it on this screen. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to myself as an officer. And now I'll get to see so much more, including showing DTM Mufid how the system knows how many speakers there will be. Okay, so when a VPE creates a meeting, first of all, under the control panel, under club setup, which we'll show you later, you tell the system if you are a weekly or bi-weekly club, if you meet on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, if you meet the first and third Wednesday or the second and fourth Wednesday or whatever. You set up your basic club information so that the system knows what your club does. So I'm going to set up a meeting. As an officer, I can create a meeting. Let's see, did it switch me? Okay. I'm just going to refresh because I should be able to see create a meeting. I'm just going to refresh my screen quickly. Someone is saying I'm currently logged in on the EasySpeak webpage. Awesome, Toastmaster Philip. I cannot see my club. That means your club probably has not signed up on EasySpeak yet, and we'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Okay, meeting list. Why don't I see create a meeting? Let me just go quickly to, for some reason I don't see that I can create a meeting, so that must means that I made some changes to the system to prepare for this training, and maybe one of my changes removed that capacity from me. So I'm just going to do this quickly. I'm going to make myself an officer. Yes, I need to make myself the web assistant. This is where you can tell the system who the officers are, and we'll go into more in-depth training about that in our Wednesday evening trainings. But for now, just so that I can give myself more access, I'm going to change this quickly. I'm going to refresh my screen. Oops. Seems like it's still processing. I'm going to check the question box. Let's see, questions. How long does it take to register a club? I did register it already a moment ago. Okay, if you just registered it, Toastmaster Philip, it's going to take you at least a day to hear back from the system. Um, the Toastmaster, Malcolm Warner, I think he's DTM Malcolm Warner, who created this whole system. He usually takes about a day or so to let you know what your login is, but you'll get the information, and you'll get lots of details on how to sign to how to set your club up once you have been added to the EasySpeak system. So just be patient with that process, and you'll get there in a day or so. All right, now I'm going to create a meeting to show how the system knows how many speeches. All right, so to create a meeting, the club officer, usually the VPE, just does just what I just did. Under meetings, you go to create a meeting, and the system automatically knows what the next meeting date is from what you've assigned. So we've already created meetings in our Deaf Run Women's Toastmasters Club through January 12th, 2016. So the next meeting, since we meet on Tuesdays and the system knows that, automatically shows January 19th. Okay, so that's already there, and it knows what time it starts, which is at 1300 hours, which is 1 p.m. And the way that we tell it how many speakers there will be is by selecting an agenda. See here where it says select agenda? There's a drop-down menu, and we have several templates. 2 speakers and new member induction, 3 speakers and club business, 3 speakers and new member induction. We even have speakathon and club business, speakathon and different speakathon templates. We have lots of templates, and the system by default comes with about 5 templates, and then you can add additional templates by building on one template and adding additional speaker slots, or removing speaker slots, or adding other things. So that's how the system knows. So I'm going to say for January 19th, this is going to be a 4-speaker meeting. And I could put information about the meeting. I could give it a meeting theme, which will be, I'm just going to say, backwards meeting. I've always wanted to do one of those, backwards meeting. I hear those are fun. And a meeting manager can be the VPE or the Toastmaster of the day. So at that point, I can say who the meeting manager is. If I know who the Toastmaster will be for that day, I go ahead and choose their name from the drop-down menu, and all of these things can be changed later as well. And here I can just put a description for what the meeting will be. If there are any special notes, I can do that. But I don't want to do any of that for now. And then I click Submit. Okay, so now it says your event has entered successfully. I can click here to view the event, or to add another event, or to return to the calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to view, oops, it automatically refreshed me and automatically took me to that meeting. So again, I'm looking at this as a VPE, as an officer, and I can see now there are no speaking slots assigned, and there are no speaking roles taken because I just created this meeting. Now, what I could do is I could go ahead and assign the speaker slot. And to do that, I just click the drop-down menu here, and then I have to determine I have to prioritize who I should assign the speaker slot to. And there's an algorithm to how the system shows you this list. You can show the list by who hasn't spoken in a long time, or by who, and then by who requested it first in that order. There's so many ways, and I can't go into that in detail right now, but this is how you choose a speaker. So here I can choose, I just requested this speech, so it's showing my name at the top of the list. But if I scroll down, I can see lots of speakers have requested roles or have requested speeches, and I can assign them accordingly. And I would just do that for each speaker. I really don't want to go into that in detail right now because it's already 2:45 and I want to show you some other things. But this is where the VPE would assign a speaker slot. I'm just going to do it randomly. And then I could do the same thing for the general evaluator. And once I finish doing all of this, the system, actually the system's going to refresh now. I should have, okay, yeah, great. So it refreshed. When you, one fallback on this system is that it won't let you do multiple things and then click save. There are certain things that as soon as you do it, it's going to automatically save it. And you saw that when we were looking at the sign up for meeting screen, where as soon as I clicked I'm attending, it refreshed the screen. Instead of letting me sign up and say that I'm going to take a role, you have to do one thing at a time, on some screens, not on all screens. Okay, so now it refreshed the screen and it showed me those assignments that I had made for the speakers randomly. And those people will get an email saying that you've been assigned a speech, and then they'll have to accept the speech on their user side. Once they've accepted it, the agenda question mark, these gold question marks, will turn to green check marks. That lets me know that they've accepted it. And if they haven't accepted it and it's gotten close to the meeting, I can send an email from the system that says you've been assigned a role, please confirm your role. And they can do that directly from within the email. Okay. One thing that I want to show you while I'm here is I want to show you the CL roles and how you can connect it to the CL projects in the CL manual. I'm just going to do this, and the ladies are going to get these emails, and they're going to say, Akanke, you signed me up to be a general evaluator. I don't want to be a general evaluator. But this is all a test. I'll have to let them know. Okay, so I'm going to save this right now. My screen is going to refresh. And what I want to show you, something really cool, is that for the CL roles, you can tell the system which project they are taking this role for. So for example, the general evaluator role is an option for CL2, CL3, 5, 7, 8, and 9. And if you want them to do it especially for CL2, which I think is critical thinking, or is it feedback? Let me look here quickly. It's for listening. I'm sorry, it's for feedback. No, critical thinking. Okay, CL2 is for critical thinking. So I want Hayat to do this role and get credit for CL2 critical thinking. That means she needs to prepare by looking at her CL manual under general evaluator and make sure she will do well on all of these items in her manual. The first item says the general evaluator demonstrated a clear understanding of a successful club meeting. And the second thing says the general evaluator's appraisal of the meeting was well organized. So anyway, when she gets evaluated in her CL manual for that role, it will be for CL2, and she needs to prepare. So the members will know what they are being assigned the role for. And that's what I wanted to show you. Okay, I want to show you while I'm here the auto button. This is so cool, and you have to be very careful with using it. We, even in our club, we haven't used it yet. We've been using EasySpeak since December last year, and we've never used this auto button because it's the deal. If I click this auto button now, I'm going to do it. It's going to automatically assign roles based on knowing how long it's been since certain members have taken roles, when they want to achieve goals. And I'm going to go show you how to set goals in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. It does not automatically assign speakers, only the CL roles, and only if the role has not already been assigned. It will automatically assign the unassigned roles. So, for example, I had already assigned the general evaluator and the first evaluator role, but I had not assigned the others. So it automatically went and assigned members the other roles based upon a number of dynamic things that's set up in the control panel behind the scene, and that's part of setting up the club, and you'll learn that later on in the detailed training if you participate, or as you work with the system you can learn. And EasySpeak has lots of videos on their system so that you can learn more about it. Any questions in the question box? Thanks, but sorry, have to go to club. Okay, bye. Let's see, any chats? Okay. Any hands raised? Let me see here. Okay, no hands raised, no questions. What does that mean exactly? Does that mean keep going, Akanke? You're doing fine and we don't have any questions? What does that mean, guys? Can you just say something in the question? Okay. Can a member update the roles and projects he or she played before using EasySpeak? Yes, you can. I'll show that to you. But before I do that, I want to show you. Let me go back to my PowerPoint to make sure I'm covering what I said I would cover. Sorry, guys. Oops. Okay, we've done the member demo and we'll continue with that. We did the officer demo to show how BPEs interact with the system. We're going to show you the club setup, and so I can go ahead and address some of these questions. Thank you, Toastmaster Fatin, for your comments. Oh, that's great. Thank you all so much. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Basima. Okay, let's see. Now what I want to do is I want to show you how members set goals. And this again is all tied into the auto agenda. As I mentioned, the auto agenda looks at a lot of things, and one of the things it looks at is what goals have the members set for themselves. So let me move my control panel out of the way. I'm going to now change to the club member view. And now as a member, I'm going to go and view under my participation. These are the other things I want to show you under my participation. View my speech progress. Now, when I do that, it's going to take me to a screen that shows me all the speeches I've delivered, all the ones I've requested, and all the ones that I've requested and have been scheduled. So at the top, it shows requested speeches. As you all saw, I requested the speech earlier for CC5. I requested to deliver a speech from the Better Speaker Series, Creating an Introduction. And this shows my workbook matrix, which shows the various workbooks that I'm working out of and how many projects I've completed on those tracks. This shows my workbook history. It shows my CC manual and what I've completed thus far. It shows the Better Speaker Series. So any manual that I'm working from is going to show me what I've done in those manuals or in those series, depending on if I'm still just on my CC or if I'm working on advanced. And since I've achieved my DTM status, mine doesn't look like everybody else's, including high performance leader and successful club, because all of these things I finished, and the system, and it was done pretty much after we had started using EasySpeak, so it doesn't look the way that it would if I had been using the system the whole time. And I also want to address how you can add old speeches and things like that, because I think that was one of the questions I just saw. Okay, so now what I want to show you is setting a goal. This is my communications page that shows all those things that I just shared with you. Here on the right side, communicator goal. So I'm working on my second CC. I've already achieved my DTM, even though the system doesn't show it here because, as I said, I started after we were using EasySpeak and it was hard to catch up in the system. I'm going to set a new goal. I'm going to click New Goal where it says the plus sign, add a new goal. And now I have an option of adding telling the system what kind of goal I want to add. Do I want to achieve competent communicator, achieve advanced communicator bronze, achieve advanced communicator silver, gold, Or I can even say I want to just complete certain number of speeches by certain date. Or I want to complete a certain workbook by a certain date. Or I want to complete 5 speeches from a workbook by a certain date. So it's up to you. Let's say I just want to make sure I do at least 5 speeches or 6 speeches. It doesn't matter. This is how you set your goal. So I say I want to complete 6 speeches by June 30th, 2016, or let's say I want to be ambitious and I want to do it by January 2016, and I save that in the system. It's going to refresh, and then it's going to give me a matrix and tell me, okay, Akanke, that's your goal. This is what you got to do in order to reach that goal. So it's going to refresh now, and I will see a matrix that tells me in this box, complete 6 speeches. Currently, my status is okay, but in order to reach that target, I need to deliver. I still need 6 speeches. This is my plan, and this is my actual is 0, and this is what remains 6. So that means I need to deliver 1.4 speeches by January from between now per week between now and January 31st. Now, what is 1.4 speeches? I don't know. But that's what the system does. So you know you need to probably deliver at least 1 speech. And if you don't deliver 1.4 speeches, you're going to have to change your goal to 5 or change your time to achieve it to maybe February 28th or something like that. Is that clear? Any questions about that? Okay. Can you show us how to change the club's name? Okay, 1 second. Can the officers have a view of Yes, of course. Toastmaster Hind is asking, can the officers view the members' goals? Yes, I'm going to show you that in just a second. Okay, let me go to Basima okay, let me just say before I go to Basima and Hind's question, to show you the same thing under my participation for view my this says my ALS progress, but for someone who's still working on CL, it will say my CL progress. But I'm going to click here and it's going to show you your leadership progress page, just like you can see your communicator progress page. And then from there, I'm going to show you, because it's all connected, I'm going to show you how to view the members' goals and things like that to answer Toastmaster. Uh-oh. To answer the question that Toastmaster Hind had about seeing members' goals. And then I'll get to your question, Toastmaster Basima, because to get to do what you want to do, Basima, about asking how to change a club name, I have to actually sign out and sign into the control panel, and that's a 3-step process. So I don't want to back all the way out of this, but I will show you that. Okay, so now it's showing my leadership progress page. And anything, so first thing it shows me is my CL progress. I'm working on my 3rd CL right now, and I'm almost done. In fact, I'm done. I just need to update it in the system. Anything with a green check mark around it means that I've completed that CL project. So you see here, I was a speech evaluator I completed that January 13th, 2015. And I completed the grammarian on that date. So it shows you the assignment, the completion date, and whether or not it's verified. And let me explain verification to you. Verification means that a club officer has verified that you did take that role, and that's required if the role is not automatically assigned through the agenda on EasySpeak. Say, for example, if you take a role at another meeting and you can come into the system and say you took this role on this date, and the system will add it to your CL progress, but it has to be verified by your VPE or a club officer who has access to verification in the system, and then they can put a check mark under verified, saying that yes, they verified it, you got evaluated, they see the signature in your CL manual, and that's what that verification column is. But you'll get more detailed training on that in the other trainings that we'll do. Okay, so I just wanted to show this to you, and you can also do the same thing for creating a leadership goal, same thing, same process, everything is the same. Now from here, I want to show you the club charts before I go and show Toastmaster Basima how to change the club name. So this is a really wonderful menu item and feature in EasySpeak. And am I still viewing this as I'm viewing this as a, oh, let me view this quickly as an officer. I'm going to stay here where I am so that I can show you the verification process. And I'm going to go now and show you, let's say let's see what I want to show you. The leadership chart. There's so many charts that you can look at on EasySpeak, and you can see at a glance how members are doing. So this is showing me the leadership chart. For example, this shows me that this first member, Toastmaster Abir, has completed Project 1. She has partially completed Project 2. The clock means that she has a role that's scheduled. If I hover over it, it shows December 15th, 2015. She's scheduled to be the speech evaluator. If I hover over the blue square, that means this is a role she has not scheduled and she still needs it. It's the general evaluator role. So you can hover over any of these things. Even the green check marks means that it was completed a long time ago. So speech evaluator, if I hover over this one, it says she completed it December 30th, 2014. She completed vote counter January 13th, 2015, etc. Goals chart. Let me see here. The goals chart is the first chart under club charts. And this shows the target date. It shows their name of the member, the educational goal, the status, if they're at risk or if they're okay, or if they completely failed. I completely failed, as you can see here, to achieve my advanced communicator goal according to the system, even though I'm a DTM. So this, again, this is just because I started this after EasySpeak, but this is, otherwise it will show you exactly what you need to see. It shows a target date, the plan, what you actually achieved and what's remaining and what needs to be done. And there's so many other things you can do here. You can view your charts in different ways. You can view it by the family name, the date they joined, when they last spoke, speech progress, ascending or descending. You can also, from this one page, change to other charts. So for example, I'm going to change now to the communications chart. And it's going to refresh. And now it's showing me the communication chart and all the members and what progress they're making and what workbook they're working from. Again, a green check marks means they did it a long time ago. A light green check mark means that they did it more recently. And in fact, there's a legend. I'm going to go down to the bottom so you can see the legend. Here it is, right here. Speech completed. Speech completed in last 6 months. Scheduled and requested. So those are what those symbols stand for. Okay, so that's how you change from one chart to the next. You don't have to go. You don't have to go back out and come back in. You just choose from this page, and these are the different charts. Participation chart that shows you how members have been participating, and you'll get to see who has participated, how often, and you can sort it in different ways to see the member participation. I'll just switch to that quickly. So for example, this shows for the second member, Aisha Nadir. She attended the last meeting, and but she didn't take a role at that. No, I'm sorry. This is showing the range from September 29th, 2015, and you can change the range, the date range as well. So you can look ahead or you can look back by choosing some of these options. You can go backwards. I just chose -8, and that's going to refresh the screen and take me all the way back to June 23rd, 2015. So this shows if you see a person, it means they took a role. and it tells you, if you hover over it, it tells you what role they took. And if there's a question mark, we're not sure even if their attendance, if they attended the meeting. So, but the system should know if they attended. That is done by the VP and the secretary when they close out a meeting, but I'm getting ahead of myself, and this will be covered in the detailed training. So now let me go, and now that I've answered Hin's question, I want to answer Basima's question, and I need to sign out in order to do that. Okay, let me go home. I actually don't need to sign out, but I need to have an option at the bottom that I click called Club Control Panel, and then it will ask me to sign back in again, but I don't see that I have that, and it might be because of the settings that I changed earlier. But let me just see. Let me wait for the screen to refresh. Are you going to refresh? I'm going to check the question window to see if there are any questions. Okay, there are questions. 1 second. I'm going to make myself the acting VPE. Submit that change, and only an officer can make these officers changes. That's why I'm able to do it, because I'm signed in as an officer, but I need to give myself higher access because I'm not really a club officer right now. I'm the immediate past president, and but I have full access. So I'm going to change this, so now I should be able to have access to the club control panel. Let me go back to home and refresh. Okay, let me go to some of these questions too. 1 second. Okay, we can search for any Toastmaster in the system, mainly to learn how to introduce them to by listing their, let's see, let me go back further. Oh, what is a backwards meeting? A backwards meeting, it's a themed meeting where you, instead of starting with prepared speeches at the beginning, you start with the evaluation session. Imagine that. You start with an evaluation and nobody has given a speech yet. That's what that is. I've never done it before, but I've heard of it being done, and I saw this on the Toastmasters International Facebook page, and I hear that it's hilarious and can be very meaningful. But don't ask me how it actually goes, because I still can't envision it, but I do want to try it one day. Can I track my road to DT? Yes. Toastmaster Abid, definitely. This is what this whole thing is about: tracking your progress. Okay, let me see if I have access to the control panel. Why don't I? Okay, for some reason I don't, and I should have it. I'm going to, oops. Am I in Dahran Women's? Yes. Let me go to Dahran and see if I have access over there. Sorry, guys. I hope you're not getting dizzy looking at my screen. It's showing me the next meeting automatically for Dahran Toastmasters Club, and I want to get to the home screen and see if I can access the control. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and tiny, 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 tiny letters at the bottom that says Club Control Panel. I'm going to click this and see it's asking me to sign in again, and it's my same login. One profile gives you access to whatever club you're a member of or an officer of, and it takes me to the club administration side, and this is where you can go to club setup. There's several things you can do here, but I can't show you everything. We'll go into the details more when we do our detailed training. And it shows me the list for Dahran Toastmasters Club. It should only show Dahran because I only want to access the club control panel for Dahran. And I can click edit here. And this is where I can make changes. So I can call this Dahran new name, for example. and make any changes I need to make here, including if the meeting day changed. Under the General tab, it shows what the name is registered as with Toastmasters International. That you cannot change, but you can change what it says in the system. So Toastmaster Basama, if you want to officially change the name of your club, you need to notify Toastmasters International so that they can update your bylaws and club constitution, and that's pretty straightforward to do. It shouldn't be a difficult thing to do. But here, you can change the name that it shows on EasySpeak. You can change the admin address if one person leaves or is no longer the admin. You can change all of that. You can give it a subdomain so that when people go to EasySpeak, they can type in a short subdomain. So, for example, for Run Toastmasters, it's dtc.easyspeak.org. You can list all of this information: Twitter account, Facebook page, etc. You can tell it what region you're in and choose the language. And there are limited languages. I don't see Arabic there yet. Hopefully they will add it. There are so many preferences. I can't go into details here. But what I want to show you is the meetings. This is where you tell it where you meet. And you have to update your location. So, for example, it says time and place, and it says building 1007. If I have more than one meeting place, we alternate between meeting places. For example, I could go to locations, edit, and add a new location, and then from the drop-down menu, I'll have access to that. Here is where you tell it when your club meets, and do you meet every Tuesday, or just the first and second Tuesday, or the third or the second and fourth Tuesday, or do you meet just every other Wednesday? Because sometimes, some months have five weeks and some months don't. So you can choose all these options here. It really gives you all the options. Your agenda preference. And before we conclude, I want to show you how the agenda is created, which is really cool. Like once all the roles have been assigned, and let's say it's the day before the meeting or the morning of the meeting, you want to generate an agenda, I want to show you that. So I'm going to have to conclude my show and tell here so that I can get to that and then take your questions as well. So here, agenda is where you set agenda preferences. Which names do you want printed on the agenda? Do you want to print the meeting days and weeks on the agenda? All of that, but that won't have as much meaning for you unless you see an agenda. Here's where it shows you the TMI information. This information is actually from TMI. Okay, so I'm going to come out of this. Basima, I hope I answered your question. And let me see these other questions. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Let me just go back in order of the questions. Yes, so I answered your question, Toastmaster Abid. You can definitely track your this is all about tracking your success towards DTM, but you do it one level at a time. First, you get your CC, then you track your ACB, then you track your ACS, then you track your ACG, and if you're working on both tracks at the same time, you can track both tracks at the same time. But first, for the leadership track, first you track your CL, then you track your ALB, then you track all of those things. And the system knows exactly what you need for each of those levels. So for example, for ALB, it knows you need to complete your CC first, and you need your CL, and you need to deliver 2 presentations, and you need to serve as an officer for 6 months, and you need to have completed participating in developing a club success plan. The system will not let you achieve it unless you have actually done it and it's been verified in the system. So yes, 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 a big yes to your question, Toastmaster Abbott, about tracking your progress. Can we search for any Toastmaster in the system mainly to learn how to introduce them by listing their? Yeah, you can. Let me show this to you now, because this is part of what we were going to show you. DTM Rick was going to show this to you, how to set up a new club and how to add users. Let me come out of this and go back to my front page. From the front page, if you do not have your club set up for EasySpeak, you go to easy-speak.org, and there will be a window. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to log out of EasySpeak and come back in so that I can show you how to. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to log out. When you first go to easy-speak.org, on the first screen that you get to, there's going to be a box at the bottom that says register a new club on EasySpeak. And this is exactly where you enter your club number. You enter your club number here and then you click add club. So first you have to have a club, and then you enter the club number and add club, and then you will get an email and it will take you through the process. It says in order to add your club on EasySpeak, you will need to provide us with some details. To start with, you will need your Toastmasters International club number. If your club is not yet shown as charted at toastmasters.org, then register as a user on this site and send us an email with your club's information and a sample agenda, and we will respond as soon as we can. Okay, so that's how you set it up. Let me go back to the, okay, now what I want to do, I want to log back in and show you how to create add a user or add a new member. Now, when you're first signing up as a club and you need to set up your whole club, the first thing you need to do is to tell the system when your club meets, so that the system knows all of that. That panel that I just showed you, you need to fill in that information. And then the next primary thing that you need to do is add your members. And there are a couple of ways you can do this. The easiest way, I will say the most effective way, it's not necessarily the easiest way, is to add members in groups or one member at a time. The reason I say this is because you can add the members by uploading an Excel sheet and it will automatically add all the members in one click. But what it doesn't do when you do it that way is it does not send an email to the user to say you've been added and this is your username and this is your password. So you've got to go through another process of figuring out seeing what the username is, and we've done it both ways, and by far the easiest way we did it was when I implemented EasySpeak at the Dahran Women's Toastmasters Club when I was the president. I did it as my HPL project, and I asked the VPE to be the lead person on the action committee to help us implement EasySpeak. And we have committees in the women's club, so she had an education committee. There were 4 members on her committee who helped with planning meetings and doing different things for educational purposes. Each one of them took 5 members' names and added those 5 members' names to the group, to EasySpeak. We gave them access to EasySpeak, and how long does it take to add 5 users? Maybe 10 minutes. And so that's much easier than one person adding 30 members or one person adding 60 members. So you can divide it between the officers and do it that way. Okay, let me show you how to add a user. You go to this club user list. This is going to show you all the users that are already in the system, and if you don't have any users, it will show you nothing. And to add a user, you go to add user. Just click this, and again, users are members. And there are user categories, so you'll see this here. Add user to Dahran, and I'm in Dahran, not Dahran Women's right now. Okay, connect to Dahran with status of, let's say, member. I'm adding a new member. First associated with this club on what day? You can put that. Introduced to this club by, you can put that person's name. And you want to do that because this system actually tracks the awards given to members who add more than 5 members, for example. So you want to make sure the VPM and the person who's processing the member application wants to make sure that they know who introduced this member to the club. You want it to keep track of that, and you want to enter it in the system because that way you can give awards appropriately. And then you say you want to input the full name and email address. That's what you would do if you are setting up someone for the first time. So you would enter the person's name. I'm going to say Akanke test, email address, akanke715@yahoo. You enter whatever the information is, and that's all you do, and you click submit. If that email address is already associated with the club, it will bring back a duplicate. Sorry, but this email address is invalid. Another user is registered with this email address. So you have to go back and you say, oh, well, let me just find that person's username, and I will add that person so that you don't duplicate profiles. So the system has a protection filtered in there so that you don't create duplicates. Or you can select from a previous list of club members. So this is how you add new users one at a time. And again, if you're starting out for the first time, you're a new club, I personally recommend that you take the suggestion of having the VPE and her committee, his or her committee, or the VPE and maybe 3 other officers take a certain number of names and add them, because when that's done, that person automatically gets an email that says what the username and password is. And by the way, the system will ask you how you want to generate. So let me try to get through this part. Oh, we have 10 minutes left. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use an email that I know is not in here. Okay, I'm going to click submit, and it's checking to make sure that's not a duplicate. And then it's going to give me another screen that says, okay, what do you want the username to be? And so what we did in the ladies club is we put first initial, last name. Or you can do first name, last initial. It's up to you. So I'll do Akanke A, so that I don't create another username. And in fact, I don't even think I'll create this user because I don't want to clutter the system. But this is how you do it. Here, you give it a username. The system automatically generates a password, and you can put the person's mobile number and contact information, and they'll get an email that says welcome. And you'll also get an email. So the officer gets an email, the member gets an email, and that's how that works. So I'm going to back out of this. I also want to say, now that I'm thinking of it, when a member signs up for a speech, the VPE gets, when the member requests a speech, the VPE gets an email, the president gets an email, and their mentor can get an email as well. And that's something that you set up on the control panel to tell them who you want to get notification of assignments or a speech request. So that's a pretty cool feature, and you can learn more about that by coming to the training or learning on your own, but hopefully you all will be able to come to the training. Now let me go and see what kind of questions and comments we have here. Okay, what does the at-risk status mean? That means that they set a goal and they're at risk for not completing it. That's what that means. Because the system tracks those goals. So they either show red, yellow, or green. If you're at risk, that means you have not been delivering the number of speeches or taking the roles that you need to take to achieve your CC or CL, depending on what you told the system. I'm using my TMI number as the username. Can I change it to the name instead? You can change your username. That's something you can update in your profile. Yes, you can do that. Is it easy for a member to sign up? The website that we are currently using, the member officer needs to write in the names of the members before they are able to log into the site. No, actually, you can sign in as a member without being associated to any club, I believe, but it's best for the VPE to sign up so that you can be associated with the club, Toastmaster Hen. Okay, if I track my CC or CL on EasySpeak and it is approved also on EasySpeak, do I still need to maintain? Yes, you need to maintain the manual, because you need to bring your manual to every meeting, and your evaluator at the meeting needs to evaluate you on how you did that role. So yes, and if there's a verification process, if there's ever need for verification, you need your manual, and you need to get a signature in your manual. You need to get evaluated. So yes, your manuals are still important. What is the training you're talking about? I'm going to show you in just a moment, Toastmaster Hen. How do I assign a mentor for a member within the EasySpeak system? You do it under the user, when you add the user. Let me see here. User list. I will, let me see if I can show you that quickly. Oh, I'm already here. Okay, let's go here. Oops, I was supposed to click the edit button. I didn't. You do that by going to the user and editing their profile. That's how you do it, Toastmaster Aschat. I can't show you that now because I think I'm going to run out of time. Can you create the mentor-mentee relationship? Yes, you can, Toastmaster Hen. I saw that speakers can request projects from the CC manual out of the project sequence. Is that allowed? It's allowed, and you saw that on my screen, and that's probably because I was just doing a test. And but TMI highly recommends that you should take the you should deliver your speeches in order, but in the system you can request it. So for example, if you know you want to deliver your CC5 on a certain day, but you're not sure when you want to deliver your CC4, but you know you'll deliver it before your CC5, you can go in and request it before you request your CC4. So you can do that. And some members, what they've done is they request all their speeches at one time. So they'll have 10 speech requests in the system, for example. But yes, you can request them out of order. Just it's not recommended to deliver them out of order, and that's something that the VPE should maintain. I have probably missed that part. How does the system recognize officers when we first sign up the club? You tell it who the officers are. You first go in and set up the club. That's the first step. Then you add all the members. That's the second step. And then you go to this part that I've shown you before. Go to this club officers, and then you assign who the officers are. So the club admin. So for example, when you're first setting up a club, there's one person who's the club admin. That person is the person responsible for setting up the club. So it's usually your VPE or your president. Once that person has gotten the email saying that your club has now been added to EasySpeak, they need to go in and set up the club information. When they meet, what day they meet on, what time they meet, do they want what they want in the agenda, and that sort of thing. That reminds me, I need to show you the agenda quickly, and then I'll show you tell you about the training that's coming up. So this is how you go add an officer, this club officers, and then you just go to the drop down menu and assign it. If it's a new club, you won't see any names, but you need to assign the names by doing that. And that again is for the person who's primarily responsible for initially setting up the club. And then once those officers have been signed up, they will then have automatically have access to work within EasySpeak. Some will have limited access, and that's controlled by the control panel. You can find out more in the upcoming training. Okay, I hope that answered all your questions. Now let me show you the agenda. This is the exciting stuff. Woo, how it all comes together. So I'm going to go back into Dhahran Women's Toastmasters Club because I know Dhahran Toastmasters Club is just starting, so they don't really have full meetings set up yet. But I'm going to go into Dhahran Women's Toastmasters Club and show you how to generate the agenda for our next meeting. So it automatically takes me to the next meeting. And by the way, when you're in this page, you can easily get to the next or the previous meeting by using these arrows, previous, next. Okay, so you don't have to go out and come back in. There's so many ways. In fact, EasySpeak is kind of too dynamic. It gives you so many ways to do things that it can be overwhelming. But once you know it, once you learn it, you get over the learning curve, you become comfortable. But at first, I used to hate EasySpeak. Honestly, me and the Toastmaster Nuha, who was the VPE to help us implement it, we hated EasySpeak because it was so much to learn. It seemed overwhelming, and we were teaching ourselves. But then we found a way to learn it. I got someone overseas who mentored me, and it became so easy. Now we're in love with EasySpeak. Okay, so now from here, I'm at the meeting for next Tuesday, December 8th, and all I do is click this agenda item with the printer here, and it's going to give me a screen that shows me the agenda. Oops. Cannot print the agenda because, and this is good too, one of the speakers did not identify her workbook assignment, so I'm going to back out of this. And let's fix this really quickly. I need to just give her, say which workbook she's working from. I'm going to say she's going to deliver a special occasion speech. My system is taking a minute to refresh. Okay, so she's delivering the roast. And now I'm going to save this. Give her a speech title, okay. Speech title, A Roast to Arifa. I happen to know I think that's what it's going to be on. So now I can save this, and now I should be able to generate the agenda. And we have 1 minute left for this training to be done, and I want to tell you about the upcoming training. Okay, so now I'm going to click the agenda, and it should work. All right. Now we're looking at the agenda. One click of a button and it shows you an agenda. It shows you the time, the role, how long the duration, and this duration part is good for the timer. And you can control which durations you want to show. So for example, this shows everybody's duration, but maybe you only just want to show the speaker's duration, for example. So this shows your agenda, and there are different ways you can display the agenda. I cannot go into that right now. You can have a simple agenda or a detailed agenda. And this agenda, usually the agenda shows what speech project they're delivering. Oh, this is a contest. That's why it's not showing. Let me go to a regular meeting. I want to show you what a regular meeting agenda looks like quickly. I raise a motion that we extend the training by 5 minutes. Anybody want to second that? Oh, gosh. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Hen. Okay, I'm going to go to this one. This is a regular meeting with speeches, so let me do the agenda for this one. All right, so here you see where it says speakers, it shows the Toastmaster's name, what speech they're delivering, what the objectives are. And if you see a question mark on the agenda, that means that person has not confirmed. So you want to, that's a sign for the meeting manager, whether it's the Toastmaster of the day or the VPE, to say, hey, you need to go in and confirm your speech role and give us your speech title so we can print the agenda. All right, everyone attending, I'm going to now show you the flyer for the training that's coming up on Wednesday. Okay. If you can see this on my screen, this is the flyer for the next EasySpeak training. It's called EasySpeak Up Close. It's going to take place December 9th through the 30th from 7 to 9 p.m. And it's going to be every Wednesday, December 9th, December 16th, December 23rd, and December 30th. And there is an agenda for what's going to be covered. Let me try to go to my email and show you that quickly. This is the agenda. So the first session is going to cover club setup, how to set up the control panel, the officers list, adding new roles, etc. And the second session is about creating meetings. The third session is about editing, is for members, editing profiles, confirming attendance, signing up for roles. The fourth meeting is answering questions and troubleshooting, but we'll have troubleshooting in every session, but that's a special session. So we'll send the detailed agenda. The best thing to do is to send an email to district79webinars@gmail.com if you want to attend the training. We're also going to promote it to all the members in the district on the Facebook page and by email. And what else did I want to say? When we send out a thank you notice for this particular training, we'll put information in there about it as well, like the link to sign up for it. So you'll be able to sign up for it that way. Are there any questions before I close? Okay, thank you all for seconding it. Okay, thank you, DTM Mufid, for your compliments. See you on Wednesday, everyone. If you want to participate, we hope you will be there, and tell your other members and officers so that we can achieve greatness faster. Because believe me, I don't know if I conveyed this today, but once you're on EasySpeak, you know your journey. You're charting out your journey. You know the steps you need to take. You know the steps you've already accomplished. You can easily see it at a glance, and that will help you achieve your educational goals. It will help the club become distinguished. When the club becomes distinguished, the area becomes distinguished. When the area becomes distinguished, the division becomes distinguished. And guess what? It'll be easy for us to always be a distinguished district. So let's help our district succeed. Thank you all so much, and see you on Wednesday. Bye.